I worked on a fishing boat for a while. Long nights, same routines. You stop thinking about how dangerous the ocean really is. That night was supposed to be normal. There were 4 of us on deck. It was late. The ocean was rolling, nothing unusual. We dropped the net and waited. When we started hauling it back in, the line felt wrong, heavier than it should have been. Not snagged, just dragging, like it didn't want to come up. Then we heard it. At first, I thought it was the wind in the ropes. Then it changed. It sounded like screaming. Not words, just raw sound. Panicked, desperate. One guy laughed and said it had to be seals. Another said dolphins. None of us believed that, because the sound wasn't coming from the surface. It was coming from below the water, from the net. As we kept pulling, it got louder, clearer. You could hear strain in it, like whatever was making that sound was running out of air. I kept waiting for someone to say stop. Nobody did. The screaming sounded almost human. Almost, but weird, like it didn't belong to anything we knew. Then the net broke the surface, and the sound stopped. Instantly. No fading, no echo, just immediate silence. The net was full of fish, no body, no animal, just torn mesh near the bottom, like something had forced its way out. Nobody spoke. We finished the job because that's what you do when you don't want to think about what the hell just happened. On the ride back, no one turned on the radio. Later that night, lying in my bunk, I realized something that made my stomach turn. The screaming stopped exactly when the net left the water, like whatever was making it knew it couldn't follow. I don't work on boats anymore, but sometimes, near the ocean at night, I swear I hear breathing under the waves.
I used to dive recreationally. Nothing extreme, just open water, decent visibility, always with a buddy. That day, my buddy never made it into the water. He said he felt sick, said he'd sit it out. I remember feeling annoyed more than worried. I didn't want to waste the trip, so I told him I'd do one short dive and come back up. That was my first mistake. The water was colder than I expected. Not dangerously cold, just enough to make my body tense up. Visibility was bad too, 10 feet at best. Everything beyond that faded into a dull blue haze. I descended slowly, checking my gear, checking my breathing. Everything was normal. Too normal. About 5 minutes in, I realized how quiet it was. No fish, no movement, no sound except my own breathing. It felt like I had shown up somewhere I wasn't supposed to be. Then I felt it. That pressure at the back of your neck, the feeling you get when someone is standing too close behind you. I turned. Nothing. Just water. I told myself to calm down. Panic underwater gets people killed. Then the light changed. The water above me dimmed. Not like clouds passing overhead, more like something large moved between me and the surface. I looked up. The space above me looked blocked. I didn't see a shape. I didn't see eyes. I just knew something was there between me and the air. Then it moved. Slow, deliberate. The water shifted around me, like something massive was changing position. I started swimming up. I tried not to rush. I tried to control my breathing. That's when something passed behind me. Not touching, just close enough that I felt the water move against my legs. I kicked harder. My breathing went fast, loud inside my mask. I could hear panic in it. I didn't look back. I knew if I did, I wouldn't come back up. Halfway to the surface, something wrapped around my ankle. Not tight, not pulling, holding. I screamed into my regulator, kicked, twisted, felt it slide slightly, like it was testing how much I would fight. Then it let go. I broke the surface, gasping, ripping the regulator out of my mouth, yelling for my buddy before I even realized I was yelling. He was there, pale, shaking, pulling me back onto the boat. I told him something had grabbed me. I told him something was under the water. He didn't argue. He just stared at the ocean behind me and said, "It came up with you." I didn't want to ask what he meant, but I did. He told me that while I was underwater, the surface started to bulge, not waves, not ripples, like something pushing up from below without breaking through. He said a dark shape followed me upward, stayed under me, stopped only when I reached the boat. I quit diving after that. But sometimes, when I'm standing in the shower and the water runs over my ankles, I feel it again. That gentle pressure, like something reminding me it knows the way up.
I used to take my boat out alone at night. It was quiet, peaceful, no people, no radios. That night was different. No wind, no waves, even the water sounded muted. I shut off the engine and let the boat drift. I leaned over the side and dipped my hand into the water. The ocean lit up. Not sparkles, not glowing plankton. A single solid light, deep under the boat, bright enough to outline the entire hull. I froze. Then it moved. Slow, controlled. It slid under the boat like it was positioning itself. I pulled my hand out and stepped back. The light stopped, directly beneath where I was standing. I remember thinking that if it came up, I wouldn't even have time to react. The glow stayed there for a few seconds. Then it sank, straight down into the dark. The water went black again. I turned the engine on with shaking hands and didn't look back. I drove until the sky started to lighten. I still go out on the water, but never alone at night. And I don't put my hands in the ocean anymore, because whatever was under my boat that night knew I was there and came precisely for me. All of these stories were told by people who went into the ocean thinking it was just water. They came back knowing better. If you're listening to this at night, maybe keep the lights on. True ocean horror will return.